Okay, I posted a picture of what I think is a decent way to hang cymbals on the wall because I'm chewing up floor space in my studio. And I thought of a lot of cool ways, but they all got really involved in heavy duty. So I decided to try this. So what you see there on the wall in front of you is just Amazon ordered garage hangers, which is that. And these, I'm going to look for a different kit. These are not so hot. These two are definitely better. Those are a little long, but that's kind of the sweet size that I'm looking at, and which I believe is going to be the. It says that it holds up to 22 pounds. They just call it the small L bracket is all it is. But I'll show you what exactly that I've got going on here. So what you do is I didn't even mount it in the stud. I actually used these drywall anchors that are basically, it says it holds up to 79 pounds per anchor, so I'm actually using two of those. I would have preferred to have it go on the studs, but it just didn't work out that way, the way that everything else is lined out when I put these up, and measurements of the wall and all that good stuff. But here's how they work. Smaller cymbals behind. I have some fantastic Jeff Hamilton Hammertone hats. Actually, I kind of have the series of them. Here's his Chinese. And then I've got the 20 ride. And then I've got the 22. So they all fit up there fairly well. They have a decent lean. Holds the weight just fine. So that's pretty much what we've been doing. So I figured I'd do a little video here of how I'm actually hanging them all up. So what I've already done over here is I've kind of marked, I don't know if you're going to see it that well, I've marked basically where I want the top of the hanger. We're going to worry about making it level here in just a moment. And I'm planning on putting these in kind of like strategic places on the wall. So what we're going to do is get out one of these hangers. Which looks like that. If you want some measurements on it, basically they are about 5 inches long, a little less, right at if you include all the rubber grips. And I wanted these because they will protect the cymbal a little bit, but I did do a little bit of a cheat on these because that's kind of narrow. So I actually just grabbed them and I give them a yank kind of apart and just get them a little bit wider. There we go. It's not perfect, but they're wider than the original by at least probably 2 inches, I would guess. But they are kind of stiff, so I can always tweak that later. So since I marked out the top where I want it, I just center it where I did the measurement. Give myself a little bit of a hole to go by. And then, if you haven't used these anchors, they're fast. You get the job done really well. All right, a little bit of a pro tip. I saw a guy do this when I was installing TVs. Just use a little bit of, a dustpan to help with dust. Now, this is not the, craftsmen are going to scoff at me for doing this. But you just put it on there, Phillips head screwdriver. Start slow. And there you go. There's the first one. So, and then you got all your lovely little dust down there. Doesn't get it all, but it gets a lot of it. Saves you some cleanup time. And then we just take our screw and drive it in. And I'll leave a little bit loose because what I want to do is just try to see if I can get it kind of flat. So that way, there we go, that'll do. And with that, then I'm going to mark the other hole here. All right. Grab another one of these drywall anchors. And some people might say this is overkill, but you know, the way that I have thought about it, I weighed each cymbal. And I didn't do the grams and all that. I am going to get around to eventually having everything set up in the grams, which people like. But if you think of it just in sheer weight, a ride cymbal or a pair of hi-hats average right around 5 pounds or less, depending on what you got. But I took a 22-inch ride, and now of course that's going to fluctuate, but there, that's all we did. And then we just start grabbing some rides and chinas and so forth. This is not pretty, but it'll do. And then we just, there you go. Now, the smaller cymbals are definitely going to go in the back. Let me get a pair of hi-hats here quick. Give you a better idea. Here. I'll grab these lovely pair of new artisans that I have not even played yet. And I won't even take the time to take out the plastic, just to give you a demo. Put them behind there, they'll set just fine. And then I've got room for, you know, splashes, other things, and I've kind of rearranged things a little bit, but basically that's all it is. I figured that I could usually get about at least a set of cymbals, not including, you know, some of the quirkier, like, you know, the chinas and so forth, but I'll have plenty of room to get them on there. So like I could, this is my 20-inch complex medium ride. I can grab my Stratus 20 and they'll fit in there, no worries. And it's sturdy enough, figure, as long as I don't overload it. It's a good way to get everything off the floor and display the cymbals a little bit. And I've got plenty of spaces to do it. Maybe if I show you what I've done over here, I'm going to take you off the stand here. And if we go over here, and this room is always a clutter. And over here, I actually put a couple different things. I found out this one I had to modify. If you can see. So this is a situation of kind of dealing the cards that, or I'm sorry, just playing the cards you're dealt. I had to put two of the really large brackets on here because I have a cable hider here. And that didn't play very nice with me. And I was like determined to use it. So I actually figured that if I just use two of the really long L brackets, and you can see they are really quite long, that came with that kit from Amazon. What ended up happening is that I split them and I got a lot of cymbals on there. That's like a whole Legacy series. And a Todd Sucherman ride. And I've got, what's he, I've got 3 rides on there. Crash, set of hats. So there's a decent chunk of weight, and then I found out this Dominator Chinese can set here with relatively little stress on the cymbal. But it sets actually better like this. It didn't see how it kind of pooches out right there, and it doesn't want to stay. So I actually let it set here on these outer lips, and there's no real stress on it. So again, it's not the perfect system, but I'm figuring out how to use it. All right, hope that helps.